Hey you guys, welcome to Vlogmas Day 8. That was insanely enthusiastic. I am sorry. I can't help myself sometimes because I'm so excited about Vlogmas. As you can tell by the title of this video, we are doing some winter survival tips. I think I have 5. I may have 6. I don't really know, so let's practice my counting as we go on through this video. So I live, just as a bit of background, I live in Newfoundland and it's very dewy, damp and cold all the time. So like when it's snowing, for example, we don't just get snow, we usually get wet snow, ice pellets, rain, and then a lot more fluffy snow, and then it all freezes and it gets really cold really quick. So we usually have like minus, I don't know, 20 and then the wind chill, so it's not terrible, but it's not ideal when you're wet. So my advice for surviving winter in that kind of climate is pretty much like this. I live by myself, I don't own a snowblower, and I have to shovel myself. So when it comes to shoveling, you kind of really need to get like a good shovel. I paid like 80 bucks for mine, but it's like a giant scoop shovel, so you can like lift a lot of snow at once and you push instead of like lift. So it really helps your biceps. It's a great workout, and it's also good if you wear a Fitbit. I mean, I have to shovel my driveway, my walkway, and my basement entrance all the time, so I do keep all of that clean on my own. I do it by myself all the time, and it's really good for your body too, because you're giving yourself a workout, but you have to be safe about it. And I also have salt on hand all the time for ice, obviously. Those are my outside survival tips. Now, in terms of dressing for winter in Newfoundland, I always say fashion is not always on the forefront for me because I'd rather be warm. I always dress in layers, so I'm the girl who wears leggings as pants to work all the time, but all of my boots are like knee-high winter boots or over my knee boots or my tall hunters that hit right at the bottom of my kneecap. So I always have knee-high socks with my boots. So I wear like my thin socks inside with my super thick, heavy, tall hunter boots socks, and then my boots, which are good for like minus 40. So my feet are always nice and toasty right up to my kneecaps. The winter coats that I wear usually come down over my butt, so there's very little of my body that just has one layer of clothes that is exposed. When I wear winter coats, I make sure I have like a t-shirt or a tank top on, and then I'll put on a sweater, and then I'll put on a coat, because the best part about layering your clothes is if you get too warm, you can always take it off. So that's always a bonus. So that's my second tip. Layer your clothes. Do not be afraid to layer your clothes, because it's more important to be warm and dry than it is to be cold and wet and fashionable. I used to be in the fashionable category, but then I started living on my own and things just got crazy, and you want to be a responsible adult who doesn't end up with pneumonia all winter. So dress appropriately. That's the bottom line for that. That's 2 tips. Third tip, if you work like me in an office, you're very blessed to have your own bathroom and your own space and probably a closet. So I always have an emergency change of clothes at work. I work in the downtown core, so there are times when the snow comes up to over my knees because there's nowhere to put the snow in the winter time, and the plow just dumps it in front of your door and you could go up to your knees in snow. So having knee-high boots is always a perk for that, and it's a bonus. But be prepared for anything. Like, that's that lesson. Be prepared. So always have a change of clothes at the office. It's like the best thing ever, or at work if you can. I always have an emergency blanket in my car. I have an emergency small compact shovel in my car. I always have emergency windshield wiper wash and a little bit of salt just in case. My car's never gotten stuck, luckily. So that's my third tip. Be prepared. My fourth tip is what? Is about saving energy. Don't be that person who has the heat on bust all the time, because I find, well, first of all, light and power is expensive here in Newfoundland, so I'm the girl who always turns the lights off when she leaves a room. I never leave things plugged in that don't need to be plugged in. In terms of heat, I bought one of those energy efficient portable heaters to heat the house, and I only ever keep the actual electric heat on low in the basement, which warms up my floors. I'm very lucky that my house is really nicely insulated and the windows are new, so everything is good in that regard. So the heat's only ever on low. I use my portable heater and I unplug it when I'm not home. So it does take a little bit longer for the house to warm up in the wintertime, but that's okay, because if I'm a little chilly, I will just put on a fluffy robe, or I will grab a sweater in the house. It's not a big deal. I always have fluffy blankets on the furniture as well, so it's one way to save heat and money, is to make sure you're not wasting your energy. That's very important. I don't understand how people can do that all the time, just leave things on all the time and just have no awareness of it, because it does cost money, and that's what runs up your electric bill really at the end of the day. So that's my 4th winter survival tip. And my 5th winter survival tip is be a responsible car owner, guys. Make sure, like here we had snow in October this year. We had flurries start in October. It didn't stay on the ground, thank goodness, it melted. But I do remember as a child having snowstorms on Halloween and not being able to go trick-or-treating. So I always make my car tire changing appointment for early in November just to get it done. They couldn't fit me in this year until November 25th, but luckily I have all seasons tires, so they're my summer tires. So if we do get a bit of snow, they are all seasons, so the amount of going I do, it's not a big deal. So I'm not too concerned, but make sure you have your winter tires put on as soon as possible. And here winter tires stay on for like 6 months, 7 months. It's normal here. So be prepared for that, and just make sure as well, the other tip, I guess, number 6, is have good food in the house that in the case of emergencies you can eat it without having to like heat it up in case the power goes or anything like that. So have your canned goods, have some munchies on hand in the wintertime for emergencies, like when the power goes. That can happen. That happens a lot here. Sometimes the power grids are so overloaded here, we have rolling blackouts. Like, that's normal. So be prepared for those things. Have flashlights and candles on hand so you're ready for that stuff in the winter. And that's usually how I survive. In terms of outside activities, I don't really do much because there's nowhere to walk, because city council doesn't clean the sidewalks, so you could pretty much die if you're walking in the middle of the road. So I just stick to inside, maybe go to a movie, sometimes go to the mall. I don't do much in the wintertime in that regard, but I use the winter to have stay home time and really enjoy staying home and loading up the Xbox with a ton of TV shows to watch. Like, I have an external hard drive that is literally like seasons upon seasons of shows and movies. So when you're stuck at home on those really stormy winter nights, because there are a lot of them in St. John's, you have an ample amount of TV to watch, because sometimes you can run out of Netflix options. So yeah, those are my tips for winter. Those are my 6 survival tips. Just be prepared is always the answer for everything for me, and be responsible about it. Don't be like, whatever, I'll do it next week, because if you wait too long, you're gonna get yourself into some trouble. So if you live in St. John's, if you guys have any other tips for me, let me know how else I should survive YYT winter. And give this video a thumbs up if y'all have been enjoying Vlogmas thus far. I'm having so much fun making these videos for y'all, and I will see you tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 9. Don't forget to be subscribed. I love you guys. Bye.